Hi guys, welcome to the Punky Judester channel. I'm Jude, aka Punky Judester, and this is of course episode 17 of the Judecast. I'd like you guys to stick around right to the very end because I've got a very special announcement I want to tell you right at the end. So let's get right to it. Now, of course, we're all going through a very difficult time at the moment with lockdown, and apparently that's had a huge impact on the gaming industry. According to a report by the Entertainment Retailers Association in the UK, Brits spent more on video games in 2020 than TV shows and movies combined. They've spent apparently last year £4.2 billion on video games, which is a 14.5% increase since 2019, which is just huge. TV shows and movies together earned only £3.2 billion and music only £1.5 billion. So it shows how huge video games are becoming at the moment in the UK, and not just in the UK, of course. The best-selling game was FIFA 21, which sold over 2 million copies in 2020. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War came in second at 1.4 million copies, and GTA 5, which is still amazingly selling well, was number 3 with 1 million copies sold in 2020. Of course, this is not very surprising considering the fact that most of 2020 was lockdown situation, so people were turning to video games. We've already mentioned this in the past, the fact that the huge success of the PlayStation 5 was in part due to lockdown and people getting back into gaming. The fact that Wii has actually been selling hugely. The second-hand market for Wii games has just shot through the roof because obviously people went with what they had, and lots of people actually had Wiis already in their homes. So I think this is, people are now getting into gaming more than ever before because of lockdown. It's something that can be done quite easily. It's a certain expense because you need a certain computer or console to be able to play, and the games aren't always cheap. But if you're playing on PC, you can get some really good sales. Like we had recently the Steam sale, and I got quite a few games in that. Obviously over Christmas, Epic Game Store was giving games away for 15 days. So it's actually easy to build up a decent collection, especially on PC. Websites like Fanatical or Humble Bundle often doing deals where you can get really good games for a really good price. So it's not surprising that gaming, is growing. But as I said, it's not just in the UK. Apparently more than half of Americans turned to video games during lockdown. According to Nielsen Company Super Data 2020 year in review, 55% of Americans played video games during lockdown. 66% of consumers from 18 to 24 played more console games, 60% more on mobile, and 27% of people said they played video games to stay in touch with each other, which is understandable now with video games being online, being a lot more easy to speak to people during games, like with online chat and things like that. It was a good way of staying in touch. You couldn't go out and play a football match with your mates outside, but you could play a FIFA game, or you could go and shoot people up in Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Online. Whichever floats your boat, each their own. Some of the most popular games, of course, last year were obviously Fall Guys, hugely popular, Among Us and Animal Crossing. They were huge hits. Pokemon Go actually saw a huge increase, 39% increase in players. Now, I know for me personally, I actually played Pokemon Go because during lockdown we were allowed to go out and go for walks. We had to remain within a certain distance of our home during lockdown. To begin with, it was just 1 kilometer, so I would go for a wander around here and actually play Pokemon Go. Just catch some Pokemon that I needed, especially with the integration of Pokemon Home and things like that. I think that made it a lot more attractive. The fact that you could go out during lockdown, get a bit of exercise and add to your Pokemon collection, and that would impact your game. So that was a really clever idea and actually worked really well in the favour of the Pokemon company. There is an estimation, of course, that in America, digital gaming earned $126.6 billion over the course of 2020. and that's just a huge amount. I mean, America obviously is going to be more than in the UK because it's a bigger country, a lot more potential customers. But the fact that in both countries we've seen such a huge increase in gaming, the fact that like 55% of people in America were actually playing video games during lockdown is huge. I'm not sure, obviously I don't have any figures for what it is on average, but I don't think it's that high. Obviously we've also seen a huge increase in streaming services such as Netflix and Twitch and YouTube. They have just gone up hugely as well because of people being stuck indoors. They've been looking for entertainment that's easy to access and open to all. So video game streaming services have just grown hugely. Personally, I use I've got Apple TV and Prime, and those are the two that I use. I don't use them that often. I actually use YouTube more than I use any of the others. So like, but yeah, I got more on my TV or televisual entertainment, I should say, because it's not really TV anymore, from YouTube and things like that than I do from actually watching the TV. I have a big TV because obviously I have consoles and I need a TV to play video games on, but it's not even really hooked up, I don't think, to the receiver. Like, so yeah, I watch stuff through my Apple TV and through my, you know, through my PlayStation. I don't actually watch stuff through my cable decoder. Like, I have one because it came with cable bundle, but like, I don't use it. So I think we're seeing this huge move towards these streaming services, and that is going to grow as time goes on. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes and to see if gaming actually stays as popular now that, well, I mean, lockdown of course is back in the UK, so I think we'll be seeing more and more gaming going over there. It's not that case here yet. We never know if that will change, but I think that with lockdown and stuff like that, there will be a huge increase in gaming. And also I think the fact that with things like the Switch and the fitness games that you can get on there, fitness boxing, there's a Zumba game that you can download on the Switch, and you can play straight away because obviously you just need a couple of Joy-Cons. There's Ring Fit Adventure. These are all great ways of staying in shape even during lockdown, and Ring Fit Adventure was sold out everywhere. So people are really getting into gaming, not just for the games but also for the sport aspect. So I think that we're going to see more and more people getting into gaming, and as lockdown continues, it is a good way of keeping the kids entertained, staying in touch with your families and friends, and just generally taking your mind off the situation you're in. So yeah, I think we will see it grow, and it'll be interesting to see just by how much and how the whole gaming landscape changes because of that. So it'll be really interesting to see where things go from there. But speaking of gaming landscapes changing, obviously CD Projekt Red, we've mentioned it every week for the last few weeks. Things could be changing for them. Apparently, Poland's Office of Competition and Consumer Protection is actually investigating CD Projekt Red because of what happened with the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. They gave a statement to the legal newspaper, which I will write here. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I do not want to offend my Polish friends. But a spokesperson for the office announced the agency will be keeping a close eye on CD Projekt Red as they try and bring Cyberpunk up to the level it should have been and was promised to be. They made a statement saying, "We asked the entrepreneur to explain the problems with the game and the actions taken by them. We will check on how the manufacturer is working on introducing corrections or solving difficulties that prevent the game from playing on different consoles, but also how it intends to act in relation to people who have complained and are dissatisfied with the purchase due to the inability to play the game on their equipment despite the manufacturer's previous assurances." Oof, wow. They're very apparently concerned with the fact that it doesn't work properly on the PS4 and Xbox One, and they're launching an investigation into that because the launch was so bad that Sony removed the game from the PlayStation Store. Lots of refunds had to be made, lots of people complained. Obviously Microsoft made a statement saying how bad it was. It was just huge. It was a huge cock up on the part of CD Projekt Red, and apparently if they feel that they haven't done enough and aren't doing enough to sort things out, the regulator can actually fine the studio 10% of its annual revenue, which that added to the class action case that's coming against them, this could be bad. I mean, the fact that the Polish, an actual official Polish regulator is taking to task on this, that's huge. That really is huge. That shows how bad it is. I think that it's good that for the consumers that there is that protection there, and that it's not just because it could be just like they were looking out for Polish consumers. Obviously some kind of watchdog within the country could have done something just for Polish consumers, but the fact that they're taking it so serious because it's such a big issue, that's huge. And 10% of their revenue could be huge, is a huge amount. The amount of money they make, not just from the games, but also obviously from GOG. As we stated, they own that. They are the parent company of GOG, so the amount of money that they must be making is huge. So 10% of their revenue, that's a lot of money. It might just be a drop in the ocean for them, but add that to the amount that they're probably going to have to pay out eventually for the class action suits, it could be pretty bad. Obviously this will be probably a much quicker situation because obviously there's not all the red tape of the court case and that, and it's an investigation that will be done by a government agency within Poland. So you know, it will be interesting to see just what could happen. Also, could there be anything that's done higher up within the EU with their whole thing, with their consumer division, stuff like consumer protection things. It's not looking good for CDPR. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Obviously, if we get more information, we'll let you know. But that's where things stand for them for now. So yeah, not great. But speaking of things that aren't great, Google Stadia. That was quite good. I have some huge news about them, but not just Google Stadia. LG have announced that cloud gaming services such as GeForce Now and Google Stadia will be coming to their smart TVs, their 2021 models. Stadia is expected to be available after the new line of 2021 TVs are released, like the OLED, QNED and NanoCell TVs. They will start shipping in spring, so that you can expect to see Google Stadia on after that, and GeForce Now coming later on this year. This is a huge expansion for both of those services. And Google's promised that Stadia will be coming to Google TV, which is included with the latest Chromecast in the first half of 2021. So if that happens, that will make it a lot more available to a lot more people. Also, Sony's 2021 TVs will all run Google TV and probably include Stadia if that is the case. So that's going to be a huge push for Google Stadia. It might make more people try it. The fact that it's going to be more available and you don't actually have to just go and buy a separate device. Because obviously if you're buying a new TV and you buy an LG TV or a Sony TV, and those are good TVs, I have to admit, Sony and LG have good reputations for their TVs. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But also the fact that Sony's including like Google TV, which is, and possibly Stadia, rival to their PlayStation, is interesting. It could, I mean, yeah, because obviously they will want people to play on PlayStation and not use Google Stadia, but it could also be sort of taken as a fact that they're sort of going, no one's going to use your service, you suck. But obviously they have very different ways of doing things, very different models. So yeah, But obviously, if you get more people, that will mean, will that mean that they'll have to improve the service? Because they seem to sort of put it to one side. Obviously, I told you guys to check out Shane and Re-Rez's video about that. I will put another link to that up there in the icon. Because he went into huge detail as to what was wrong with Stadia and stuff like that, and it was very, very interesting. But yeah, so it could, it could open more doors for Google Stadia, obviously. So GeForce Now is currently not available on any TVs. So these LG TVs that are coming later on this year will be the first to include GeForce Now capabilities. So far they've only said it will be available on 2021 TVs, which will have game optimizer settings, which will help improve refresh rates, reduce input lag, and then have other options. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, this is an alternative option to buying an expensive gaming PC, because yeah, they're expensive. I recently bought one. And also, not everyone wants to have a dedicated gaming PC. If most of what you do is just office stuff, do you really need a dedicated gaming PC? Especially for families, like, it might make more sense for them, if they're going to buy a new TV, to buy one with this option in it, instead of spending all that money on a TV and a separate PC. So yeah, it could work quite well for these TV and also gaming companies in the future. And also, they're not the only ones going after innovation. Lenovo, who is a well-known PC company, are working with NEC. They've released, they've shown at CES this year a new concept PC that they're working on. It's a laptop portable gaming console hybrid. Say that 10 times fast. That includes a touchscreen, a controller, and a docking accessory. It's supposed to be sort of like a rival to the Switch. It looks kind of weird when you see it, but yeah. The big problem is that it's actually quite heavy. It weighs 600 grams without the controllers attached. To give you comparison, the complete Switch with Joy-Cons only weighs 399 grams. So that's a whole almost like over 200 grams lighter for the Switch. So yeah, that's quite heavy. They haven't announced when it will be released or how much it will cost. For the time being, it's just a concept, but it shows that they are trying to keep up with Nintendo. They're trying to give people that gaming on the go thing that Nintendo has, and it also shows how good an invention the Switch is. I mean, the fact that companies like NEC, obviously NEC were in gaming before with the TurboGrafx PC Engine. Now that's run by Konami, I believe. They're the ones who did the minis. But yeah, the fact that they're working with Lenovo to try and create this sort of rival to the Switch is interesting. I look forward to seeing whether this actually becomes a thing or if it just stays in the stage of concept, because there have been a few sort of similar concept PCs like this, so it'll be interesting to see if it goes any further or if they do just sort of leave it as a concept idea. But yeah, I like the idea, and so I look forward to getting more information in the future and yeah, seeing what happens with that. But huge news, if you, like me, are a fan of Studio Ghibli, however you say, I think it's Ghibli, but I'm not sure. There's a new film coming out, the first since 2014's When Marnie Was Here, a film called Earwig and the Witch. It's going to be released in the US in February on streaming services. It's about a young girl called Earwig who grows up in an orphanage in the British countryside. It says here, Earwig is a girl who has no idea that her mother had magical powers. Her life changes dramatically when a strange couple takes her in and she is forced to live with a selfish witch. And it's based on a children's novel by the same name by Diana Wynne Jones, who wrote the novel Howl's Moving Castle, which obviously Ghibli made a film of in 2004, which is an amazing film. I love it. I love everything that Ghibli does. I've got all of their movies. I love them so much. It's the new film Earwig and the Witch is being directed by Goro Miyazaki, who is the son of co-founder Hayao Miyazaki, and it will be Ghibli's first ever 3D animated movie. Of course, we know that Miyazaki was quite anti 3D. He said it had to, like, computer animation had to be very, very minimal, and to enhance the actual cartoons. He was an amazing artist. There was actually NHK World did a documentary series 10 years with Miyazaki, and it's an actually beautiful, amazing documentary. If you can watch it, I think they have it on their VOD service, so I highly recommend checking it out. Super interesting documentary if you are into Ghibli movies. Really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I love their movies. I think they're great. I'm a huge anime fan anyway, and Ghibli's just like god tier as far as anime is concerned. But yeah, so I look forward to seeing that. I hope that it will be on a streaming service over here, that I will be able to watch it, because yeah, I love their movies. I love their style. There's a magic in what they do, so really looking forward to seeing that. That's all the news I've got for you guys, but as I said, a huge announcement. Yesterday, for those who don't know, was my birthday. Yeah, I won't tell you how old I am. It's embarrassing. No, it's fine, okay. But yeah, so obviously, like I said earlier, we're sort of in a semi-lockdown here, with 8 PM curfew. You can only do certain things, blah blah blah. It's just annoying, and lots of other people are in lockdown and that across the world. Huge problems, like my family, obviously in the UK, they're on mega lockdown over there. So I've not actually been able to see anyone or do anything for my birthday. Oh well, who cares? It could be worse, right? Well, the thing is, I decided that because of this, I wanted to do something fun that would actually be useful. So what I thought was to do a live stream for charity. So on the 29th of January, we will be doing a live stream to raise money for the awesome charity that is Great Ormond Street Hospital in London. For those of you who don't know what that is, basically it's a children's hospital in London which has amazing doctors, nurses. They do huge amounts of research into different childhood illnesses. It's super well known. It's a huge thing in the UK. If you watched the opening ceremony of the London Olympics, there was a whole thing where they said they did about the NHS, and they did a thing for Great Ormond Street. That's how important it is to us Brits. It's kind of the equivalent of St. Jude's in the US, to give you an idea, or Necker over here in France. It's a hugely important hospital, so we would like to do something for them. So basically there will be a link in the description here if you want to make a donation. We'll be doing links for donations all the way through, even the day of the live stream. If you could give a donation, anything you can, all the money goes directly to them. The link is for a charity, online organisation that works closely with charities. So none of the money comes to us, it goes directly to them. So it'd be huge if you guys could make a donation to them and support that charity. What's awesome is that this live stream is in partnership with Sega! Yes, that's right, with the amazing company that is Sega. They've agreed to partner with us. They will be providing the games that we will be playing, so that's super kind of them, and also re-showing the stream on their Twitch channel. So huge thank you to Sega for agreeing to partner with us and support this. Also, there will be some guests joining for the stream, obviously online through video, but also Emma will be here. You guys remember her from the first 3 episodes of the Punky Judester podcast. She'll be coming along, keeping me sane and trying to normal, maybe. I don't know, probably not. She can't do that. No one can do that. My parents haven't managed till now. How is she gonna handle it? But yeah, so it's gonna be so much fun. Really hope you can join us. I will be giving you more details nearer to the time about times and stuff, but it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have so much fun. It's obviously my first time doing a live stream, so it's probably gonna just all go wrong. So yeah, join for the comedy of watching me mess everything up and also fail miserably at video games. Yeah, So you get to see just how bad I am. But yeah, hey, I teach the history. I'm not very good at actual gaming. No, we'll see how I do. We'll see how Emma does. I've got a couple of challenges for her, actually, from some Sega games that I don't need to know, so it could be quite fun. Yeah, do join us for that. It's going to be huge thank you to Sega. It's so awesome to be able to do something with you guys, and also for such an awesome cause. Great Honor Street Hospital, great charity. So yeah, that's it for this week. I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.